Hello. So, a quick what's going on here for those who are maybe not terribly familiar with what I'm doing here. I wanted to show off some more Pokemon stuff. A new set just came out on the online client about I don't know, let's say 20 minutes ago. I mean, it came out in it's been out for sale for about 2 days now. There were pre-releases and such for it, but they updated the online client today to have it, which means, which funnily I think means their turnaround time is actually better than Magic's for their online client, which is actually pretty nifty. I guess it's nowhere near as complex as like adding meld or things to things. So that's, but yeah, this is the new set. It's Steam Siege. So for those who like seeing gears that won't turn because somebody designed them wrong, you're gonna have a lot of fun. Like, see, we got a billion gears all over the place, and let's see if I can catch some of those while we're in transition. Yeah, there's a bunch of gears, and like obvious, they're yeah, they have a pretty similar pre-release structure. It actually recently changed with the last set previous to this, as far as the pre-release structure goes, to make it feel much more like a Magic pre-release. From what I was told from other players who were there, the pre-release structure before they changed it was really bad. Like, very poor comparatively. You just got 6 packs and had to build a deck, whereas now you get 4 packs and like a seeded pack that contains like generically useful trainers like Shauna that just says, shuffle your hand, draw 5. Things to make you, and some evolution lines so that you can actually build the deck, whereas, like, sometimes you open your pack and it's like, okay, cool. I, you open up your pack and it's like, alright, sweet, I got Hydreigon and I got a Zweilius, but I don't have any dinos, so I can't make the evolution. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to show off opening up a couple of the packs of the new set, do show off some deck building based on that, because I have some ideas and I want to see what I hadn't showed off deck building too much, and then show off a couple games with those. There is a standard format rotation coming up, but at the moment that has not happened because the standard format rotation does not happen until Steam Siege is legal for play, which happens 2 weeks. Like it's something like 2 weeks from this Friday, which coincides with the Worlds event. Anyway, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go into the shop. Okay, so they have a little bundle. It comes with, so a pack is 200 coins, and I've been kind of saving up on coins for this occasion. And for 250, you get a promo card that is it looks like a Floetta and a coin. I'll probably end up getting one of those, and then spend the rest on, yep, Floetta. Evolving from the little Flabebe. I like the art on this. I've said before, the art on Pokemon cards is generally pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think this is as good as the other Floetta that exists. And we get a Fennekin coin, which is nifty. So let's go ahead and spend the rest on packs. I could also purchase, there's these, every set has a pair of theme decks. They're generally based around a couple evolution lines and 2 types. For this set, there's the Volcanion theme deck, Gears of Fire, which is based off of Kling Clang. It looks like it's going to have to load in the arts for thing. Based around Kling Clang, which takes 10 less damage for each retreat cost in your opponent's Pokemon. Also has this really cool looking Clink art that I showed off earlier. It's just this, like, blue background. Yeah, 2 happy gears. And also based around Volcanion, which is a card I'm interested in getting in this set. It's the Fire Water Legendary from XY. It's got a pair of pretty powerful cards in this set, and then the deck is, sadly one of the most interesting cards in the new set. Ninja Boy is currently bugged. Has this little ban for, it says ban for gameplay issues. It's banned because it's currently bugged and they don't want people to play with a card that doesn't function correctly. It's one of the most interesting ones, though. Basically, you swap an in-play Pokemon for a Pokemon from your deck. It keeps all the damage and energy and attachments, which, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to playing with this, because all of a sudden it's just like, you thought, you thought it was a Meowth, but really the whole time it was like Volcanion. Get owned. I think that's gonna be fun. The other theme deck is Hoopa, which is another legendary. Has a movie, I guess. It's like the genie. See all these rings. Hoopa and Ampharos, which, funnily enough, Ampharos is quite powerful. It's just once on your turn you do 3 damage to an EX, which against other theme decks isn't very useful, but in actual play that's quite a good effect. Anyway, all this is just a bunch of me talking about cool things, like another Halucha. Yeah, love you, another Halucha. Let's go ahead and purchase some packs and open some packs. That's probably the most important thing here, so we'll just bottom dollar this and open a number of packs, and hopefully we open up some cool stuff. I have a couple cards I'm looking forward to, and so okay, here's a pile of packs. Are there theme decks with EXs? No, there are not. None of the theme decks up to this point contain EX Pokemon. But that Ampharos is still quite good because of that ability. I probably will purchase that theme deck at a later time. I'm interested in both, but I'm thinking about just purchasing the Gears of Fire deck in real life, at which point I could put the code in and redeem it. Can I right-click open all? No, we're going to go one by one on these. So I have... what's in the little bundle pack? Anyway, we have 17 locked boosters and 6 unlocked. So I may have explained this before, but I'll go through it again. The locked boosters are ones that you purchase from the store. So, like, when you purchase a booster from the store, they're locked to your account. They're not tradable. The 6 unlocked boosters are ones that I had redeemed through the code redeem from the pre-release event. Because at the pre-release, you get 4 packs for playing for your deck, and then at the end of the event, everybody gets 2 additional packs, which makes up the whole value of the event, which is also where I got this little box. This is exactly what the box looked like at the event. So, let's go ahead and crack these. I'm very happy right now because, so there used to be this bug that you may have noticed on my previous stream where, like, I would go to open up a pack and then the client would just freeze up. So I didn't get to show that off very often. But yeah, I get to show off some of the more newer cards. Like, so yeah, there's a new Hydreigon line in the set. Did I get anything nice from that open pack.wave? Yeah. Where's my... Hold on. Okay. But yeah, so it literally is doing a drum roll until I click on the rare. Which I will click on, and it's Armaldo, which is a fossil Pokemon. So, yeah, packs contain 5 commons, 3 uncommons, a rare, and then a reverse... Can you see this foiling effect? It's very hard to notice. There's a reverse foil where it's foiled everywhere but the art. We have a Shellion, special charge, lets you pick up special energies, which are like the double colorless or strong energies. Tangrowth. Fungus, When Fungus comes into play, you can pick up 3 Pokeballs. They have to be specifically the card named Pokeball, which is a bit sad because the card named Pokeball isn't the greatest, but Fungus is pretty dang great. And also, that's like you play it and you get the equivalent of a draw 3. Sneasel with the Nyan roll. Hoppip, Vantine. I like all these. I really like Bergmite. This is a very silly looking Bergmite. Yeah, I really love that they don't use. So now, once I've opened a pack, I can go ahead and click on Open Another. And it'll automatically do the opening. Okay, so here I'm actually quite happy with a couple of these. So one of the cards I'm most happy with is Hawlucha here, because Hawlucha is when you play it from your hand, you can force your opponent to switch. Is the card with the "oh, that's okay" ability in? That is a that's an Inkay I don't have. Anyway, if this is face down, this means that it's a worthwhile. Oh, sweet. That means that it's a worthwhile reverse foil, like this Talonflame break here. We dip the Talonflame in gold, and it gets better. You can't read that, and I apologize for it being sideways. The way the break evolutions work, for those who didn't see the previous stream, you overlay it on the card, and it overwrites its HP, and gives it an additional attack. These are locked boosters. Majerna. This was actually one of the rares that I opened up at my at the pre-release. So Majerna EX is one of the 4 EX Pokemon. And I guess there's 6 EXs in this set. There's 4, and then there's 2 Mega Evolutions. But Majerna is actually a Gen 7 Pokemon. You might not immediately recognize it because it's, not a Pokemon that exists in any game at the moment. Majerna has a pretty sweet ability, making your Pokemon with Steel Energy immune to non-damage effects of attacks, and an attack that is powerful, but if you use it repeatedly, it does half damage. Other cool things, this little cool Drifloon. I like hearts. So if the Dino, Anorith with little claws. But yeah, I'm really excited for Talonflame Break. So somebody asked if these are locked or unlocked boosters I'm opening now. So let me go back. It automatically defaults to opening locked boosters first, because you can always go ahead and trade unlocked boosters. So if I go into the trade menu, and I'll do this very quickly, and search for Steam, there's going to be, because Steam Siege is brand new, there's going to be 1,000 worthless offers for my Steam Siege boosters. Maybe there's, and like 1 worthwhile boost for it. Yeah, so here we are. We see like 1 billion offers for Steam Siege packs. They seem pretty reasonable, but I can trade off those packs if I wanted to end up getting, some sort of rares. If I wanted to ensure that I got specific cards from Steam Siege. If I wanted to pick up more packs of Steam Siege, I could. But right now, it seems like the prices are going to be very variable, and I don't want to play that market at the moment. So let's go ahead and crack open some more packs. Sweet, the little Joltik. So I like this little Joltik. It's so much worse than the old than Night March Joltik from a competitive standpoint. But it's a lot cute. Actually, it's maybe not even a lot cuter. It's just very cute. Mankey. So this set has a Mankey and Primeape evolution. Xyleus, we saw Dino earlier. So there's a Hydreigon. There's the Ninja Boy, which I'm happy to get. I like. Jumpluff, reverse foil. You can force a switch with your opponent's Pokemon. Wow, stage 2, 90 health, and 20 damage times the number of prizes you have remaining. And a Weavile. As often as you like during your turn, before you attack, you may put a Pokemon tool attached to one of your Pokemon in your hand. Oh, so you can just, it's the Genesect ability, but for everybody, you can just pick up all the Pokemon tools you want and just, this is kind of worded weird. So you may put a Pokemon tool attached to one of your Pokemon in your hand, though there are tools you can place on your opponent's Pokemon. I'm assuming, obviously, you can't like put a card that isn't yours in your hand. Ooh, Yanma. Yanma's important in this set. There's a Yanma and a Yanma, Yanmega and a Yanmega break as well. I don't know what like. There's like a plot thing with all these sets, but I just assume it's we dip a couple Pokemon in some gold. And I don't know why we dip the Pokemon in gold. Alright, so we got, I'm gonna click on this immediately so it's not doing the Litwick. That's kind of a dangerous place to keep the Ponyta, don't you think? Like, I'm not an expert on, like, Ponyta or, like, horses, but I'd like to think that this is actually a really bad idea to keep, like, the Ponyta in a like, a hay-filled barn. What do I know? Shellos, with both types of Shellos on it. You can't hear any game audio. I'll turn it up. That's actually fine, because, like, the drum roll is pretty loud. There isn't much game audio. How many FC packs are Steam Siege packs? You could probably 2-to-1 Fates Collide to or Steam Siege at this point. I've seen a number of trades like that in the zone. Usually it's one Roaring Skies for one. Oh, and we have the Gastrodon as well for the Shellos. Look at that nice little. Again, both of them on there. Let me mess with game audio to see if making it louder is if you can so you can hear the drum roll that happens. I'm gonna keep hitting that button. So now it's probably a little louder, so you can hear the. Yep, there's Fletchinder. Why did this Chimchar steal a gear? Man. Ooh, I'm interested in the Concher. Oh man, more Majournas. Okay. That's pretty cool. So hopefully it's a little louder. That's a good place to be. Let me know if it's too loud. So we're going to open down to my bottom non-tradable pack. Because there's no point in holding those. Ah, okay, so. There's a Dermal. Avalugg. Crunch for double colorless. Discard an energy attached on heads. Melting Flow. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck for each water energy you discard this way. Discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Oh, okay, so that's a I really like this art that's like the Avalugg, and then there's these little Bergmites on the top just hanging out. We got the Spirit Links. These are a common thing to see in every set for a Pokemon that has a Mega Evolution. When you Mega Evolve a Pokemon, your turn ends unless you have this Spirit Link attached to the correct Pokemon. And here's Clang Clang, or sorry, here's Clang, not Clang Clang. You can see it's got like it's. Like it's stuck in a pile of gears, and the gears are. There's no way this functions like at all. Like, I love it. We got a Rufflet and a reverse Rufflet. What if the gear is actually a Baby Clink? Oh no! Don't steal the Baby Clink. Pawniard does 10 damage and another Pawniards. Let's open up our flips. Ooh, reverse Hydreigon. So this was something I opened up at my release as well. I opened up just a reverse foil Hydreigon, but none of the pre-evolutions. So, Proud Fang, if your opponent has any break Pokemon in play, it does plus 60 damage, and 100 damage if both are tails. This attack does nothing. But yeah, so once I get through a lot of these, like the commons are going to start being, we're going to have seen them a lot. But it gives you an idea of what else is in the set. Since we see an Oshawott, we know that the full line is somewhere in the set. We see Pawniard, so we know Bisharp exists. We see Krogan, that sort of thing. So we know Toxicroak exists. Ah, the greedy dice! Okay, let me click this first before I get to this. So the greedy dice, you can only play this if you took it as a prize card. flip a coin of heads, take another prize. So you get to... Basically, this card does absolutely nothing in your hand. It only does something if it's prized. And then after you take it, it's a 50-50 shot of going up. I like it a lot, because it's very greed-filled. Use this nice Meryl. Again, Meryl means Azumeryl exists. We have a reverse foil Anorith. Here's Rapidash, who finally got out of that burning shed. And here's the Samurott I mentioned earlier. So, Ultimate Blade, if this attack reduces a Pokemon to 60 or less, it just knocks it out. And Pike is 90 plus 30, which is the same attack as Darkrai EX, which is pretty powerful. Like, this is a pretty good... I like this one a lot. We're down to 8 after this, so... Mantine. So again, you're seeing that we're not getting the new anymore, but... Oh, hey, Cobalion. How fuck is it? Oh, and it's electric and yellow. That would rule? Oh, man, that would rule. Yeah, so Cobalion, one of the legendary from Black and White, the Three Musketeers, does a ton of damage if you're down to low prizes and has this, like, guard attack that is auto-working against basic Pokemon, but you can't spam it. However, if you, like, set up, like, Floatstone and kept flipping, that'd be kind of funny. Pyroar charges itself up with its first attack, and then its second attack is one of the few ways to get rid of Pokemon tools post-rotation. Pyroar was one of the... In the pre-release, it was just in... Ah, there's a Clink. Ah, okay, so here I get to finally show off something new. The Azumeryl is dual-typed. It's both fairy and water. What this means, like, the weakness and resistances are normal on it. It's weak to steel, resist dark, which is fairy typing. But this means that it hits, can hit multiple weaknesses. And here's your yellow Meryl, by the way. So, the rumored yellow Meryl. But yeah, this means that against things that are weak to fairy, it hits double. Against things that were weak to water, it hits double. Which, so in general, this is a stronger, like, type. To be double typing is just stronger. Like, you could have resistances. What about a Peekaboo? Just more. And here's another Gastrodon. I like Bergmeat. Oh, Lampin. Each player draws or discards until they have 4 cards. Yeah, okay. Oh, hey! We dipped the Clawitzer in gold, too. Clawitzer break. Lock on. Defending Pokemon can't retreat. Your next attack is increased by 120 damage. I see. Again, I just assume the story is we just dip a couple Pokemon in gold. That's how this works. But yeah, Infernape is pretty cool. It has an attack for 2 energy that does 200 damage. But you have to have 10 fire energy in your discard to use it, and it shuffles them back in. I kind of like that. Like, in the sense of, like, it's... Then your deck is just back full of fire energies. But fire does a lot with its discard. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know if this isn't... I don't think this is very playable as a Stage 2 from a standard perspective, but it looks very fun, like, just from how cheap that is. Also, like, the pre-evolutions aren't really good. Like, Monferno just has some very basic attacks with no additional text. Litleo... Oh, we got a lot of new stuff, like the Bravari. Ah, Spiritomb! Spiritomb gets to continue its trend of no weakness, no resistance. My favorite pseudo-legendary, Metagross, 100%. But yeah, let's see, yeah, Braviria, which... I love the nose pass. I wonder if the I mean, it must be Probe Pass is around. Let's keep going. We got 5 left. Another Halucha. Oh, Bastodon, Bastodon and a Hydreigon. Okay, during your opponent's turn, if this Pokemon is knocked out, it is damaged by an attack. Oh, it's just fight counter. If this takes damage, put that much damage on the opponent. It's active. 10 damage treat. Okay, that's pretty nifty for a stage 1. Though it's stage 1 of a fossil Pokemon. Is Uri Geller still uppity about Kadabra these days? Yep. Still is. Here we have Nidoking. Nidoking's kind of funny because there is no Nidoqueen in this set. It's just your Nidoqueen do 20 more damage to your opponent's active, which is really good with a number with there's a Nidoqueen that goes really well with. Let me pull that up. And also let me one more audio adjustment. Yes, Burned Head. You should look up Kadabra with respect to, if you'll notice, no magic cards were found when I looked for Kadabra. And, like, they haven't printed one in quite a long time. Luckily, they can get around it with the EXs, since we have Alakazam and the Alakazam EX. But I would be looking for Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen. This is the Nidoqueen. So here's Nidoking. So your Nidoqueen does 20 extra damage. And then there's this Nidoqueen right here that has Omega Barrage Ancient Trait, which says it can attack twice. Either with Poison Jab, which would be 50 twice, or Dynamic Punch, which is 70, which would be 90 twice. So that setup gets really nice if you can, but it is 2 stage 2s is its big issue. But that looks like a fun deck to just throw together, like, because the Omega Barrage makes damage boost twice as good. Yeah, they literally have not printed a Kadabra in something like 13 years in the Pokemon trading card game because of that. They actually printed an Abra that can just bypass the evolution. It's very strange. Anyway, ooh, a Klefki. So Klefki is a card that I was interested in getting at least. Hey, Galvantula! We saw this in the Precon deck. This is a very strange Pokemon because it hits for weakness and resistance on the bench, which is basically unheard of. Like, that doesn't happen. But the idea is the dual typing makes that very strong, so you can hit for 60 to benches. More specifically, Shaman EX is 110 health. It takes 60 damage from this. You have a 2-hit knockout on Shaman EXs, so... Klefki. So Klefki is a Pokemon that just becomes a tool that's a one-turn. Mega Evolutions can't deal damage. It's more of a, like, meta sort of deck sort of thing. You know, we're just finishing opening up some packs, and then I'm going to do some deck building, and then after... Captivating Pokepuff. So the Captivating Pokepuff forces your opponent to play Pokemon from their hand, basics. You could look in their hand and pull out the Pokemon and just put them on their bench, which I think is an interesting card because you can... Basically, they can't trigger abilities off of that, and you can, like, fill their bench with a bunch of garbage. I'm going to build a deck with this, I think. That might be what I go for. How many... We have one left, so let's go ahead and do that. Once we're done with that, we'll go to the deck building. Once we're... another greedy dice. Good, good. That brings me to 2. I didn't... Okay, so this Yveltal is actually a reprint. Like, this is a reprint of the XY Yveltal, which got reprinted in Generations, which got reprinted as a promo. And also the Volcarona. So I'll talk more about that after we talk about Volcarona, which is one of my top 3 favorite Pokemon ever. This Volcarona is dual-typed and hits for 120 damage off discard all energy on it. Its trick is that if you're fighting something that's weak grass or weak fire, so say something like so basically any water types, any steel types, any grass types, you're going to do 240, which can basically knock out any EX. But the Yveltal, as you may notice if I go to the home page and flip around through these, yep, here we go. Somebody dipped the Yveltal in gold in this set, so they had to reprint that Yveltal. So, anyway, so what I'm going to do is what's in this? I don't even know. Oh, that's all the trainers that were in there. Okay, this is literally, okay, so this is kind of cool. This lets me better explain what the pre-release was like. So, at the pre-release, you got 4 packs of the set, and then you got these exact cards and a promo. This Yan Mega, with the Steam Siege promo thing. If you have exactly 4 cards in your hand, ignore all energy costs of attacks on this Pokemon. So it attacks for 0 if you have exactly 4 cards, which is also a very cool thing to do some deck building around, and I plan on doing so in the future. Not mostly because of the Yan Mega, but because of the Yan Mega break, which gives it an additional attack right here on it when you dip it in gold. But this does 50 plus 70 if they have a tool attached, which is a lot for 0 because it costs nothing. But yeah, so when you play at the pre-release, you get these Pokemon and things just to make sure that you have like Pokemon you can play. So you have Ponyta, Rapidash, you have Tangela and Tangrowth, you have Litleo and Pyroar, and Yanma and Yanmega, and then a bunch of trainers like Great Ball, top 7, find a Pokemon, Shauna, Shuffle Hand to draw 5, and Tierno. Oh, no, that wasn't what I wanted. If I click on the arrow, oh, this thing, yeah. Yeah, here we are. Here's the break. So the break gives it an attack that just does 100 damage, ignoring weakness and resistance, and all effects. We dip the bug in gold, and it's very powerful. So you can also see, this is actually a really useful tool to show off, good to bring up, that shows all of the existing pre-evolutions and itself and like other versions. So like this one, Yan Mega Prime, if we take a look at an older Yan Mega, Insight, if you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, its attacks cause no energy. So this is that's a running theme in Yan Mega, is the free attack. Anyway, let's go ahead and I am going to build, like I said, I want to build with that captivating Pokepuff. But what that means, so let me... Do you have to play energy in your deck? No, you can actually build a deck with 0 energy. That's legal. The only deck building requirement in the entire game, there's 2. There's 2 deck building requirements. 1, 60 cards. Your deck must contain... 3, I guess. 1, your deck must contain 60 cards. 2, 4 of card limit for anything that isn't basic energy. And 3, your deck must contain at least 1 Pokemon you could start the game with. Like, you can't just play your deck with, like, all... Your deck has to contain a basic Pokemon, or else you couldn't actually start the game. You would mulligan until the end of time, and you're not allowed to do that. So, the Captivating Pokepuff, the Captivating Pokepuff lets me force my opponent to put Pokemon on their bench. So what this means, this is actually very... Like, this doesn't seem like the most useful effect. Like, I'm forcing my opponent to take an action. But let me explain first. If I go back to Pokemon, I'm going to show off 2 reasons why I like it a lot. Number 1 is Shaman EX. This is a card that's in a lot of decks, very commonly, and the setup ability gets ignored if you force it down with the Pokepuff. Now, the second card I want to combine this with would be... I can't spell Zoroark. Where's Zoroark? Zoroark. Here we are. The stand-in Zoroark is 10 damage plus 30 for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. We have a number of different Pokemon like this. We have Zoroark, we have Lucario, which is actually the one I wanted to mess with, which is Fight Alone. If you have fewer Pokemon in play than your opponent, this attack does 60 more damage for each Pokemon fewer you have in play. This way you can use the Pokepuff, force them to put a Pokemon into play, and then Fight Alone does something like 30 plus 180 damage. Alternate things this can do. If I go to, like, Trevenant, Trevenant does 60 plus 20 to 2 of your opponent's benches, or Trevenant Break does 30 to each. If you just force them to put down these Pokemon, you get a lot of additional damage out of it. Colress is not in a standard. It is a extended legal card, though. Colress. I'll show off Colress. Colress is just shuffle your hand, draw a card equal to the number of benched Pokemon. However, there is Lass's Special, which is draw a card for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Benched basic Pokemon, actually. Which, this card isn't really played that much because of the basic on this. So... Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go into the deck builder. Let's go into the deck manager, and we'll create a new deck. This will be a standard deck, and I'm going to change the layout to this, and I'm going to actually go with Lucario. So I want to go with the Lucario, the Fight Alone Lucario. So that's the idea I want to start with. So we're going to go 4 Lucario and 4 Riolu, because that's a pretty good starting point. We have a couple different Riolus to choose from, too, specifically. We have the Smash Attack, Double Smash Riolu, which is 70 HP, and then we have the Smash Punch Riolu. These differ slightly. This one is flip 2 coins, 10 damage per. This one is flip a coin, 30 or 0. They are both 1 retreat, both weak to Psychic, but the 70 HP makes me think I want this Riolu. So this is our start. We also are going to need... So the idea here is that we only ever want to have this Lucario in play, and then like a Riolu in the back that's going to be the setup to get us, like, in case this one gets knocked out. Because we don't want to overcommit to the bench. So, I'm going to add in a couple more... I want to have, like, some floater Pokemon. And the best floater Pokemon I can think of is Unknown. This will give us a few more Pokemon to start the game with, and then just Riolu, so I don't have to mulligan into Oblivion. And you can discard it from your bench to draw a card. I'm going to play a playset of these to give myself, basically because only having 4 Riolu means I have a 4 in 60 chance of drawing a basic in my opener, whereas if I'm playing the Unknowns, I have a little better. That, I think, is gonna do it for... Now I can also put in, like, specific keywords, like bench here, and this lets me look up, like, this is things that do things to the bench. And take another look to see if maybe there's anything else that we would want to include, like a one of that would be nifty, or like that. Now, I realize I'm going by a ton of Pokemon here without looking at them. The problem with Shaman is that, like, Fight Alone really wants us to not have any Pokemon on our bench. And if I play a Shaman EX, I'm going to be stuck with it on the bench, lowering my damage by 60. It's a lot of card draw, but I don't know if it's worth it in the deck. Now, if I was doing something different with, like, Zoroark, which I might try, because Zoroark also does a lot too. Maybe I'll try this, and then I'll also try the Zoroark build as well. Because the Zoroark has a lot of, like, dark support, like the Yveltal, or the Yveltal, or the Yveltal, even, you know? We have a lot of different options for dark support. So, let's just start with this. As far as trainers go, I can play AZ in here to scoop it up. We're going to go ahead and play a Sycamore. We're going to go ahead and play the Captivating Pokebuff. I'm going to include a couple copies of Corina. Now, Corina is search your deck for a fighting Pokemon and an item card, and reveal them, and put them in your hand. This lets us search for Riolu and an item card, so I can go grab the Pokebuff. I don't want to include a ton of these, I'm just going to include 2. That might be overkill. Let's go ahead and include a Z. That is the scoop up, put one of your Pokemon into your hand. I'm going to try it without the Shaman first and see if that works. Other supporters. So the supporters are... Like I've said in the showed off in the last stream, supporters are like a once per turn thing. They're incredibly powerful. You know, discard your hand, draw 7 is nuts. But you only can play one supporter a turn. I'm going to include a number of these, like Lysander. Look at that hair. I like this Lysander because like his hair kind of like matches the flame sort of in the background. It's nifty. I'm gonna play a couple Lysander. There's gonna be a lot of targets on the bench. Maxie's hidden ball trick. That's not what you want. N is definitely something I'm willing to include a couple of. It's draw. Each player shuffles his hand deck and draws equal to remaining prizes, so it's a come from behind sort of mechanic. Willing to include... I don't know if I want a Skyla. Wally is like force at evolution early, which might actually be worth playing just to get us the Lucario. I'm going to do that. I'll play Zero Sick, discard a tool or special energy. I have a number of these like full art ones that are nifty. So I like playing them. Okay, I think that's pretty good for supporters. I don't want to overload on supporters. Let's go... let's make this a little bigger so they're not really that much more readable this way. I'm going to include... So I already included the Pokepuffs. Other ideas, I'm not certain if it's worth it, but, like, it might be more cute than anything else, but, like, EXP share is something that could be worthwhile to put on Lucario. It makes it a lot easier to set up the benched Lucario. When your active Pokemon is knocked out, you can move a basic energy from it to this Pokemon. So I put that on the Lucario on the bench, it gets the first energy, and then I attach the second. I'm going to try a pair of these. I don't know if that's the correct call. The big thing is I can't use Fighting Fury Belt because it's basic Pokemon. This is the best attachment in the game right now. Plus 40 HP and plus 10 damage. But you can't put it on... I'm going to include a Floatstone. Include a Escape Rope. I want to be able to get Unknown out of the active if I'm stuck with an Unknown in the active. That's probably one of the more... like... because that's going to be a 50-50 shot, right? Like... that's going to happen a lot. How much HP is Lucario? 110, so I cannot use Level Ball. That doesn't mean I can use Ultra Ball to find him. Level Ball could just grab the Unknown or the... Max Elixir isn't really going to be fine for us. Catcher... we'll play Professor's Letter. It searches your deck for 2 energy cards. A red card to go with the Karina. Red card is put your opponent to 4 cards. Ooh, a Robo-Subs. No, Robo-Subs really aren't. Play this card as a 38... so this is like a... fake, like, it's a substitute. This is substitute. You put it out and they don't take prizes for the knockout. I don't know if that's worth playing in here. Going to include Startling Megaphone. Going to include Training Center? Is plus 30 HP enough? I don't know why that 2 is so huge. 4 Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball is just discard 2 cards, search your deck for a Pokemon, which is really what I'm looking for. VS Seeker. Oh, thank you. VS Seeker picks up a supporter. So I'm doing a lot of these trainer things without explaining them. Sorry about that. I'm just kind of going by instinct. Is it worth doing something that would deal damage to the enemy bench? Ooh, Target Whistle, you bring up a good point. Target Whistle kind of works like the Pokepuff. Put a basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile onto their bench. I'm going to include a playset of that, because that seems really nice. That gives us the ability to force them to put Pokemon on the bench, even if they don't have any in hand. The deck is going to be... I think we're just going to be playing Steel Energy. I could play the Shield Energy, but I don't know if that's going to be worth it. Worth grabbing something that deal damage to the enemy bench. That could be... That could definitely be, but I'm trying to do this one streamlined just on the Lucario. And I don't know if that's right or not. Like, basically I want this to have just the one identity in the deck, and that's it. Oh, I know what this deck needs. I absolutely need a Super Rod. Or a Sacred Ash. So Sacred Ash and Super Rod are shuffle Pokemon from your discard, or you know, if this is Pokemon in Energy, Sacred Ash is, somewhere around here, is 5 Pokemon, because, like, that you need 6 prizes to win the game, and realistically, we only have 4 Lucarios, so if we want to continue going after we get knocked out a couple times, I need to be able to shuffle in the dead copies. I'm going to get rid of the red card, and I'm going to get rid of... I don't even know if the Wally's worth it, but that's... You're the Karina one. Okay. So this is our deck as it's built. This is basically just going to be around the Lucario. Might try something different with, like, Zoroark after this. We'll see. You get to choose your coin. There's a Lucario coins. We'll choose that one. We get to choose a deck box. I'll choose the Drudgedon one. I like that one. And we get to choose a card back. You know, Leafeon Silhouette, or like the Shaman one. I like the Shaman one. They're nice. This is kind of like how you get to customize what you're doing. It's nifty. Oh, we didn't name it. Alright, so let's go ahead and give this a run. So, if you're unfamiliar with how the game functions, I'll try to give a rundown as we're going. If you are familiar from, like, the previous streams I've done, that's great. We're trying to get 6 knockouts, or, 6 prizes. Alright. Are we... Hello? Hi! A very sad man is loaded in. Okay, so we get to start with the Riolu here. And I've got a lot of the good starting things here. Now, the question is, what is my opponent? It said they were normal, psychic, and lightning. That usually means Night March. Hi. AKA this Joltik here. Which is really good at kicking your ass. We'll see how this goes. So the setup with this is the Night March attack, which deals 20 damage times number of Pokemon in your discard pile that have the Night March attack, which, if you're playing things like Battle Compressor here, search deck for 3 cards and discard them, gets a little out of hand very quickly. Luckily, if they're using their Sycamore that quickly, I don't feel too bad about it. Ah, okay. So, we have... Ooh, I can force the Joltik back out. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Pokepuff and see what we're fighting against. 2 more Joltiks. Nice. 2 more Joltiks. So the cool part about the Pokebuff 2 is now I have perfect information on what's going on. So put a pile of Joltix onto the bench. They have a double Colorless to attack with, end the Puzzle of Time, or end Lysander to force me to switch out. So anyway, right now Joltix attack does 40 damage because there's 2 Night March Pokemon in the discard. Yeah, they have no card draw, which is maybe the biggest thing there. I'm going to go ahead and crack this unknown. There we go. Now the question is what I want to do here. I think I want to try and knock out a Joltik. So they're weak to fighting. It's weak to ground, but luckily fighting translates into ground the exact same. So if I get lucky on the smash, I can take it out. I'm going to try it. I'm also going to hold my stadium because I know they're holding a stadium. And there's no point in... Let's force out a non-Flitstoned one. And I'm not going to Megaphone just yet. Okay, so 20 damage. So the cool thing is Lucario's attack does quite a lot of damage. The problem is we're going to have a lot of problems with the incoming... Okay, so there's that Dimension Valley. Okay, they got an Ultra Ball, which lets them go grab a Shaman. And they held the double colorless energy. They might be able to knock me out right here. TK Cat, this is basically the only 30 HP basic I can think of in existence that sees play. Yeah, we're getting knocked out right here, which actually is going to completely put us over. We need more... Not having as many basics in our deck is kind of a... like, if we get knocked out early before we even get to Lucario, that's a bit of a buster. Let's give this another shot and see how it plays out. Night March is sort of the... boogeyman of Standard right now. It's the clear best deck, bar none. Like, there's arguments for others, but, okay. Yeah, Joltik is just that good. Okay, so this is one of those games where we're stuck with an unknown in the start. I don't know, I'm not feeling how this deck has very poor starts just because of the, like, reliance on just one basic. Maybe I want to try the Zoroark setup. That might be a little more interesting. So our opponent's just fighting. They're also very heavy against EXs, which is good, because we're not playing any. They have the card bank that prevents EXs from dealing damage to it, and they have Halucha, which can only damage EXs. So, like, on the whole, we're in a pretty good place here. Like, now, their real buster is, of course, Zygarde, which figured should be, as it should be. Zygarde's very powerful. 190 base health. Which goes up to much high... Okay, there we go. We get an Ultra Ball, which can set us up with a... Alright, so what I'm going to do... This is a strong energy. It makes it do 20 extra damage. But luckily for us, it's a special energy. So I'm going to knock that the heck off it. I'm also going to use the Puff. So, no dice. They have a VS Seeker, Hex Maniac, Muscle Band, and an Energy. Okay. Let's go ahead and... I'm going to ditch these two, because I'm going to need to draw a supporter. This way I can still pick up the Zero Sick and try to get... So the Zygarde can't get the knockout here. Its first attack with 1 energy does 20 damage plus 20 if there's a stadium in play, which does 30 with the Fighting Fury belt. But Unknown has 60 HP, so we're safe for a turn or two here to set up. The problem is going to be that I need... Oh boy. I can swap me into the active. Okay, so I do need to draw some sort of draw supporter here. Alright, well, since I have a Riolu again, I feel fine just using the Farewell Letter ability. We very much need a draw 7 to be able to function here. Do I want a VS Seeker for, like... Nah, there's no point in doing that. Yeah, so the Riolu, we're not playing for its attack. It's not a powerful attack. And I'm assuming that the Riolu is going to... Oh, okay. They dipped their Carbink in gold. So they're going to VS Seeker to go grab their Karina. Karina will grab a fighting Pokemon and an item. I'm going to guess the item is going to be Professor's Letter, which allows them to search for 2 energy cards. Because that way they can actually get set up. Now, the thing is, we really do need to draw something next turn around. This is... Again, the setup for this deck is not as great as I hoped. Might want to swap over to the Zoroark deck and see how that plays out. Yeah, alright. So let's go ahead and concede up. We'll give this one more run through. Again, how are the sounds? Is the sound good? We'll give this one more run through, and then we'll switch over to the Zoroark style, which is basically, rather than being a standalone, we're just counting how many Pokemon are on their bench, which honestly is a lot more simpler to do. Let's see how this one functions, though. I really like Lucario, though. The standalone Lucario can get very... Again, can get very powerful very quick. Okay, they're going to Steel Psychic Normal, which says to me Shaman, which says to me... Like... The Normal's almost always Shaman when we're counting something like that. That's weird. It was showing me prompts there. Yep, okay, so we're going to have to mulligan. This is much closer to what I want to see in a hand, like having a Trainer's Mail and a Sycamore. I'm playing the Trainer's Mail, which is an impulse, because I want more consistency, so I don't have games end up like the last one we just had. So this is sort of the side effect of only having 8 basics in your deck. You're bound to have this sort of thing happen where... Ah, here we go. All right. Then we have an Ultra Ball, and we have some draw. Okay, this looks a lot better. We have an immediate draw 7. We have an immediate, like... This looks a lot more like what I want to see. Okay, so they're playing Caesar. Caesar is, when it swaps in, it does extra damage. Like, if it's... Okay, they're... Oh boy, I kind of hope they don't end immediately. Nope, they're gonna. They have 6 cards in hand and they're ending. They must really not like their opener. Alright, let's see what our mulligan looks like. Okay, still have a Sycamore. Honestly, just fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and... We'll play the second Riolu. I don't want to play the third. Let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail. Ooh, a Pokepuff. And let's see what they have in hand. Ah, sweet. So this is a powerful thing here. So Hoopa's ability is when you play this Pokemon from your hand, search for 3 EXs and put them in hand. But because I'm forcing it down, we're ignoring that. They already are holding the Mega Caesar, though. I'm very glad about that. We get to basically dodge that powerful effect. I think I'm going to Sycamore here, which... And also, I want to Megaphone. So I could Ultra Ball for something, but that would discard my Sycamore. I want to use the Megaphone because I know they're holding Mega Caesar EX. So let's get a draw 7 going. Oh, hey, Wally. Okay, Wally is what we want here. Again, Wally is a supporter that just does an evolution. So we'll see how this functions. I don't want to play the Riolu because we want less Pokemon on our bench. Alright, so their hand was, again, like an energy, the Mega Caesar, a supporter for a Skyla, and a VS Seeker. So the Skyla is probably going to go grab I forced them to go grab another Spirit Link, right? Yeah. Now, this is a problem here. Basically because Mega Caesar's attack is 120. They don't have any in the discard pile, do they? Nope. Okay, so... the question... So 120 is enough to knock out Lucario. The question is, how do I want to play around this? What do I want to do? Because my attack will do 30 plus 60 plus 60, so 150, which is powerful, but Mega Caesar has 220 health. And we would actually need 2 more Pokemon on the bench for it to get the knockout. I could Lysander to buy time. Like, let's go ahead and... at least attach. I could Lysander to buy time, Lysandering out the Hoopa, but I actually feel like that won't work because they have VS Seeker in hand. VS Seeker can grab Skyla. Skyla can go grab a Floatstone. Floatstone gives you free retreat. Then you get the free retreat. So, what I think I'm going to do... do I want to... This is difficult. I was hoping that getting rid of this was going to be enough to slow them down. I'm going to see if they see the play I do. I'm also going to put this on the bench because I want to... So I'm just going to see if they see the play I do. If they do, we're going to have to do some work here. This is going to be, again, difficult to work around. This should VS Seeker for Skyla, Skyla for a Floatstone, Floatstone to swap. Mostly because I don't know what else I can set up. Yep. The exact sequence. So the reason I know they're playing Floatstone is actually the Trubbish in the back. So the Trubbish's evolution, Garbodor, prevents all abilities from working, but only while it has a tool attached, and the main tool you attach to a Garbodor is a Floatstone to make sure it can retreat if it gets Lysandered. We're going to go ahead and shuffle these Riolus back into the deck. So we have some time. I just need to find a way to deal with that. And that's going to be the difficult part. I really wish I could get some more Pokemon on their bench. That would be the optimal way to do so, but... let's draw some cards. Okay, we got... alright, I'm willing to fill the bench at the moment. Okay. So this little bit of damage is actually relevant. It lowers the amount of Pokemon I need on the opponent's bench by 1 at the moment. So, oh, sweet. They put a Trubbish in the discard. That's actually quite good. I can target whistle it back then. Alright. VS Seeker for... N, perhaps? No, they're going to keep grabbing Skyla. That's fine. Alright, so I have an idea now, though. Everything's actually working here. it's just going to be very slow for us to get rolling. And a Lysander might knock us out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start setting up this Riolu. Now, I actually have abilities cut off, so I can't do the unknowns anymore. Yeah, let's Ultra Ball. No, we'll draw 7. So we want to find a target whistle. Perfect. So let's target whistle that Trubbish. Alright, so this is actually going to be a knockout next turn. The 20 damage I did with Riolu is going to matter. Now, if they have a Lysander, that'd be bad. But Giovanni's schemes means they're desperate for card draw, and they've used their supporter for the turn. So what I'm going to do, the problem with getting the knockout, so they could play that Lysander, but it's not going to be, there's actually going to be no targets for it. So check this. Ooh, they didn't knock out the unknown in the active. Shit, that's actually a really good play. I can AZ the unknown out of the active, but that actually gets rid of the other half of the play, which was I wanted to zero-sick the floatstone, which would allow me to get this unknown out of the play. What to do, what to do. So I can get... I could AZ it out, and then I get... Like, if I AZ it out, I attack for 150, which isn't actually enough, but might just have to be. Yeah, again, so the getting rid of abilities with the Garbodor is actually quite powerful. What we're going to do, though, we're going to fight alone. And I am going to try to set up so that I can have a Lucario, because now a Lucario can just get the knockout with a Vacuum Wave. Okay, and now he's not fearing anything, he's just going to go for the knockout. So this is going to be a bit difficult to get a win out of. There's a target whistle. Let's go ahead and use the Super Rod. We'll go ahead and get these back in the deck. And then we're going to go ahead and draw 7. Okay, 2 Riolus and a Pokepuff. Oh, they've got another Mega Caesar. Yeah, so the thing here is going to be I need... So let's go... Trainer's Mail... Okay, Training Center's good. That's going to give Lucario some extra hit points. The problem is that doesn't work against Mega Caesar, because Mega Caesar can discard a Stadium from play. We're going to go ahead and put this here. Play our Stadium. Now, doing the Escape Rope just does our opponent's job for them. Okay, they miss on that Trainer's Mail. Okay. So they're going to go to... Now, here's my most powerful play I have available to me. And this is the play I'm going to try to use to win the game. And it might do it. It's powerful enough to do it. So we put Riolu in the active. Step 1. We attach an energy to Riolu. Step 2. Step 3. We play N. N says each player shuffles their hand and draws a card for each remaining prize. 6-1. So they go to 1 card in hand. And there's our Lucario we needed. So Lucario, get on down. I think they still are going to get the knockout on us. Yeah, they should still get the knockout if they play it right with the Caesar. Yep. So if it becomes active, it does 110. I guess I should have waited on the stadium 1 turn. $170. No, I wouldn't even have been able to knock out the Caesar. Alright, that was a little better demonstration of how I want the deck to function. And we just... Oh, I forgot I even had that quest going. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and go back into... We're going to go back into the deck building, and we're going to go ahead and change things up. So let's go ahead and say goodnight to the Pokebuff there. We're getting rid of that one. We're going to start a new deck. I could keep it, but... So... I don't know how to... I will never know how to spell Zoro... Oh, Zoroark. Okay. So this is the card we're going to depend on, is the Mind Jack Zoroark. Now this one doesn't care how many Pokemon we have on our bench. Also, we get to play Zoroark Break, which is Zoroark dipped in gold. It can, for 1 energy, use our opponent's active Pokemon's attacks as though it was its own attack. Zoroark. See, I always think it's Zorarark, like Zora, like a you know. Anyway, so we do need you, and we're going to play the. Do we want the Nasty Plot one, or do we want the Moonlight Madness one? Let's split the difference. Actually, this one is the stronger one, I think. It has 60 health. And a pretty decent attack. So Zora can confuse for 1 and 30 damage for 2. So now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to include a number of support cards for dark types. So we saw Yveltal in our pack we opened, which allows you to attach dark energy to one of your benched Pokemon. And is a good start. So we're going to include a couple of those. We'll include a couple different types of those. We also have the Yveltal EX. Let's take a look at other dark types and try to find ones that can hit the bench so that we can work with what we have. Absol pulls damage counters off the bench and puts it on... Or pulls damage counters off one Pokemon and puts it on another when you play it from your hand. Could play Darkrai EX, which likes us to have dark energy around. Inkay with Upside Down Evolution. If it's confused, it flips it, you know. I'm just taking a look at everything. I'm not deciding on anything at the moment. We have the Steam. What was the Weavile? The Weavile did move as many damage counters from your opponent's bench Pokemon to any of your other Pokemon. Any of their other Pokemon. Alright, so I'm going to include a couple EXs to make this a little more... because the Yveltal EX we can move around energy on. And one of the big things is that Zoroark's attack is double colorless, so we want reasons to include double colorless energy in our deck. And Yveltal EX's attack is dark and double colorless. We'll also include... It's another interesting line that would be fun to include in here. Could include the Malamar. That's double dark. I'll include an Absol. And we'll put in the Darkrai. Yeah, we'll put in Shaman. This is a deck where it works just fine. Alright. So, as I said, let's go ahead and include... We're going to include the double colorless energies. So, right here, anything that's good in colorless. Let's take a look. I'm going to probably up this to 8. Let's take a look. Actually, I would be interested in trying to do, like, Aerodactyl at some time, too. This is a really fun Pokemon. Aerodactyl's very powerful with the double colorless energy. Going through... So you can actually do a filter on attack costs. Like this. And it'll filter all attacks that are just colorless. Which is an interesting way to do it. Other useful colorless Pokemon, Lugia is a very good one that works very well with just colorless. Lugia EX as well. Rayquaza EX. Hey Porygon, how you doing? Raticate and Raticate dipped in gold. I don't know why they did that to you, Raticate. Send help. Okay. So in trainers, we're going to include our Captivating Pokebuff. We're going to include a couple Target Whistles. Not as many as last time, just probably 2. And we're going to up Lysander to a pretty heavy count, 3. I don't think we need the... Go with Professor. We'll go with Ultra Ball. Again, a lot of these are kind of like pretty easy includes. Like, VS Seeker is very flexible in what it does. And because you're playing VS Seeker, it's very easy to include a lot of these one of the supporters that I like. Now, the Darkness Stadium is over here. It's just called... Oh, no, it's just called Shadow. I was thinking about Max Elixir here. We only have 8 basics. I'd have to up that a little bit. I like having a float stone. I always feel nice having that. Actually, we want more float stone. So, one of the tricks that our deck is also going to be able to perform, I've been talking about Mind Jack, but Stand-In is a power that Zoroark has as well, that you can just force it to become the active once a turn. And if you have a float stone on it, you force it to become the active and then flip it back. Like, so you have a free... Basically, you get to choose whoever's in. You get to choose whatever's active. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll try the Max Elixir plant. I always want to include it. And yeah, we're at over 60. That's fine. We'll work with this. So your deck has to be exactly 60. You cannot go over. Shadow Circle is darkness. Pokemon with dark energy have no weakness. I'll include a copy. The Greedy Dice, I'm going to including just for fun here. You can't play it from your hand, but if you take it as a prize, you can flip a coin and take an extra prize on it. So I think that's a lot of fun. Okay, okay, so now I'm at full up. Let's lower Lysander count. Let's lower you. Let's lower Floatstone count to 2. Lower Trainer's Mail. Lower Max Elixir. Lower Darkness Energy. And where else can we cut corners? Greedy Dice is fine to play in a game that has, like, Professor Sycamore. And, like, Ultra Ball. You can always discard it. It's not great. It's not good. It actually does factually nothing, but you can always discard it. Let's try this. Anyway, so this is going to be pretty dependent on the... Actually, you know what I do want to include in here? I want to find room for... Let's cut down on... There are cards that let you swap cards with prizes, so let me find a couple of them. It's not in Standard, but there's a Rotom who does that. I am playing Zoroark Break. Maybe I just want one, though. I don't know. I'm going to play the two, though. I'm actually just going to keep this as is. And we'll go with our... It's a good coin. Well, we just got the Fennekin coin. Let's use that. Let's go with... the black and white sleeves. Okay. So now, let's go ahead and... Alright. Probably going to play a couple games with this and then call the stream for now. I have some other things I need to take care of today, like setting up a campaign thing for... I need to finish doing setup. Yes, I'd be willing to explain Standard in such formats. So, there are multiple formats on here. Let's do that now. So, on here, there's 4 formats, but only 2 of these are real ones in, like, actual play. So, Standard is the equivalent of your Standard in Magic. It's, the last about 2 years of cards, going back at the moment, if I go to Collection, going back through filters, sets, from Steam Siege all the way to... Trainer Kit Wigglytuff, all the way to Primal Clash and everything above, and promos from above. It's a format that a lot of tournaments are played in the actual Pokemon TCG. Expanded is everything all the way through all of the black and white sets. It's the equivalent of Modern. It also has tournament support in real life and on here. It's the format that has a lot more... There's a lot of things going on. It's a much larger format. It's basically the Modern to Standard. On here, there's an extra format that is called Legacy, which is not actually like Legacy in the sense of you can play all your old cards. It's actually... Legacy actually only lets you play from X and Y... From here down. You can't play anything from X and Y forward. That is not a real tournament format. It doesn't exist in, like, actual... It isn't a supported format. But it is on here. It's a very interesting format. Like, new cards don't affect it, so it's kind of like a known thing. But Standard and Expanded are the 2 formats. How far back does Legacy go? As far back as cards on Pokemon Trading Card Game Online go, which is Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Yeah, the client... It's an online-only format. It doesn't exist in real life. Alright, so we're fighting against... Oh boy. This could be interesting. I guess I'd like to go first. So this will hopefully look a little more of a reasonable start. We get to start with Yveltal and Darkrai. There is not... You are imagining it. Okay, so they are... Oh, they're playing with their new cards. Like, that format exists, but I've never heard anybody play it. So let's do the actually, no, there's no reason to Pokepuff here. Well, there is. Let's go ahead and we're gonna this plus discard the Zoru. Yeah, because we want our buddy. Oh, so they're going all around Mega Steelix already. Okay. Mega Steelix does 160 plus 10 for each of your opponent's bench on each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. I played that specifically because I want to be able to play this Shaman. That certainly is a lot of double colorless energies. Oh boy. Sure, I'll take the greedy dice. Alright. That's not exactly what I wanted to draw off you, Shaman. No, he's just gonna play Ed, and we already knew that. Which I'm completely fine with. That lets me actually, like... The core set, the XY core set rotated. As far as standard goes. It will rotate, sorry. That's incorrect of me to say. Alright. So this, I'm actually going to do some... okay, the Sycamore is really good here. So I'm going to play the Zorua, Yveltal. I'm going to use Ultra Ball, discarding the Darkness Energy, and the Target Whistle. That Steelix came out today, you're correct. We're going to go ahead and grab... actually don't care about any of these. We'll go grab another Yveltal. So I'm going to set the double colorless up on... I could set it up on Yveltal, actually. Alright. So let's overwrite. We have no weakness, which is good. Not that it really matters, but like there's a darkness weakness that we have to Steelix EX, or the Mega Steelix. 3 Versus Seekers, and all we have is a Sycamore. So Yveltal's attack grabs a darkness energy from discard and puts it on a Pokemon. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up on our Yveltal here. Now, the trick here is that Yveltal also, like, this has, like, the pass around going on. Like, this lets me move an energy from this Pokemon to one of my bench, so I can move the double colorless onto the Zorua, which will soon be a Zoroark, if my opponent doesn't end, which they are. I was hoping they weren't going to, because I would like to Lysander out the Bronzong and get it knocked out. They, however, are in dire need of some form of, some form of attack. Okay, is that the Steelix? Yeah, this is from the new set as well. Oh, hey, what's going on, Greed Dice? Alright. Well, I am going to get a knockout with Yveltal. Let's play the Max Elixir. Hopefully we hit. Nope. Okay, look at the top 6 and grab a basic energy. Put it into play. So let's retreat to Yveltal. I get to knock out the Cobalion, but I think I actually want to just... let's do it this way. We will play the Dark Energy here. Y Cyclone for the knockout. And we'll swap this over to Darkrai. I don't want to AZ Shaman for 2 cards. Ain't worth it to me. Alright, so Bronzong in the active. I just get to knock this out. So the cool thing here is, alright, so Steelix EX. Its attack is 5 energy, which explains the 2 double colorless over there. But Evil Ball here does 20 damage, 20 additional damage for each energy on this and the opponent's active Pokemon. So, like, if I can get the Steelix into the active, I can hit it for 80 plus my own DC. Basically, I can hit it for 200. Like, my Yveltal can do a lot of damage. Which is sort of the plan. Also, luckily, I have a steel... I have a fighting resistance. So the Mega Steelix is actually dual-typed. Our opponent... Oh, sweet. Please. Please. I don't need these greedy dice. They're not doing anything. Okay. This is kind of funky because I actually don't want to Y Cyclone at the moment. I do want to Ultra Ball, though. We're going to get rid of the Pokepuff. It's not doing anything. And we're going to get rid of the Zora. We're going to go ahead and grab a Zoroark. Now, I could Y Cyclone for the knockout, but... Man, I really want to have Evil Ball available. I don't like the... I didn't like the AZ Shaman play there. God, I could get the knockout, though, and then I could just, like, set this up on... No, let's go ahead and just... It's 10 short. Alright, so this is now active. Oh, and he's gonna switch right on in. Okay. Okay, so Evil Ball does... Right now it does 80 plus 100, so... Quite a lot. I could make it 200, but that's not a knockout. I think what I'm gonna do is let it get knocked out. Like, let it knock this out, and then go ahead and... use, like, Yveltal to finish it, along with Absol pulling 30 damage off of this Bronzong to finish it. So I'm gonna hold this... hold this Dark Energy? Now, let's put the extra damage on it. There was one other play I could have done, but it wouldn't have resulted in a knockout, so I didn't choose it. Okay, so they get 2 prizes. No. Dual-type decks are definitely real. Alright, so this is where I'm going to go ahead and use Absol. Yes, I'd like to move 3 damage counters. Select a Pokemon that has damage on it, move it on to here. Oh, must be prized. Crap. Well, let's grab the Yveltal for a backup. I was hoping to find the Zoroark dipped in gold. So, Oblivion Wing. We're going to go ahead and set up the Darkrai. So we knocked out the Steelix. There we go. There's the Zoroark break that I was looking for. I did discard Gold Zoroark, but I have 2 in the deck. That's why I went looking for it. Find our golden boy. Alright. So, Majerna does 120, so it's going to get the knockout here. Ooh, they're going to start setting up a Steelix in the back there. That's fine. Now, the line I'm going to be using is using Darkrai over there as my main attacker for a turn or two. So they go down to 3, which is fine. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade Zoroark. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of the double colorless energy on here. And I guess play Veltal. And so let's attack. Our attack is only for 60. But that's seriously audible? I'm stunned. This is very precise new mic. So I'd like to draw a Dark Energy. With 2 in play and 2 in the discard, it's like a 4 in 23. They use a Battle Compressor to start setting up Steel Energy down there so that they can slowly build up the Steelix. The problem is, like, I don't know how much time they have. I don't think they have a lot. Oh, they've got the Mega Steelix again, alright. Ooh. Lysander, you say? Do I want to use that, or do I want to wait on that? I don't know. No, I think I'm just going to go ahead and continue beating up on Majerna here. Because I could, like, Lysander in this, but I don't really want to. None, there's 2 energy down there. Oh, they already have a full art ranger. That's nice. This is from the new set. So my plan from here is I'm going to knock out Majerna. That is a Gen 7 Pokemon I'm fighting. Yes, Majerna. You're correct. It's from the new set. Ooh, a second Lysander, actually. So I'm going to pick up the Lysander here. We're going to Lysander out this Majerna. I'm going to get 2 knockouts. That puts me on 1 prize. Now all I need is 1 knockout, which I can get on this Bronzong if I can Lysander it, or the Bronzor. He probably swaps into Cobalion. Now Revenge Blast for double Steel does 30 plus 30 for each prize I've taken. So that's 180. That's a knockout on anything. Yes, Golden Zoroark can use the enemy's attack if it wants. That's what I plan on doing here. So they're probably going to Steel Guard. Oh, Hex Maniac. So Hex Maniac prevents abilities, which means I can't stand in. However, through the power of... Oh, actually. Yeah, we'll put that on the Yveltal. Yeah, through the power of second Lysander, we can go ahead and just take the game here. Sadly, without the help of Zoroark. Yep. Let me spin the wheel and we get a box. Oh yeah, Lysander is just Gust of Wind as a supporter. Yeah, so they were playing basically a lot of the new stuff. They had a much more interesting new stuff deck built, but as you can see, they may have taken a lot more time to build their collection than just 16 packs. Specifically on this is from the new set as well. It's a full art Sycamore. Sycamore, you're dropping all those papers. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and open up that box. Yeah. Sure, let's open up the Breakpoint pack. Because it's trade locked, so there's no reason to hold on to it. This one is a Greninja dipped in gold. It's got a lot of cool things going on in here. It's got the Trubbish. Oh, speaking of dipped in gold, we have the Luxray. Flip a coin until you get tails, does 40 more damage for each heads, 130 plus. That's actually a lot of damage there, though that's 4 energy. But yeah, we got Shiftry too. Also, we got like almost the whole setup here in Shinx and Luxio. My favorite Overwatch. Don't worry, I already got Open Packed Out Wave all ready for you. Yeah, old. But yeah, anyway, that's all I think I'm going to be doing for today. I might do more of these now that the client is, like, fully functional. Like, it doesn't have that bug where if I open up a pack, it freezes on me, which was super annoying to deal with. Anyway, thank you all for joining. Hope you enjoyed this. It was mostly me yakking about things, building decks that weren't really that great, and then playing a dark deck that actually is pretty great. It's just the Zoroark is not terribly necessary in it. Zoroark. So, thank you all for joining. Hope you all enjoyed.